Hi everybody, happy Friday, 'tis the season. Thank you so much for tuning in today for Drinks and Design with Darci. I'm Darci Hether, an interior designer here in New York City and beyond. And today we're talking Baileys and backsplash. So I've poured myself a Baileys. I like it ice cold right out of the refrigerator. Nothing else to go with it. Just kind of good this way. So, cheers. Today I was going to talk about backsplash, but namely something that we've been doing a lot on certain projects here in the office, and that is when you have a continuous piece of material. And I know that there have been a lot of kitchens that are done with the same slab backsplash. So you'd have a continuous look for the countertop that would then go up the wall for the backsplash. Or there's people that will do smaller, whether it's a pattern or a brick pattern or a mosaic. But something that we've been doing here on a few projects now, we have been doing large sheet, large format backsplash that is not stone, but that is something that coordinates with the kitchen. So on a project that we just recently finished, we used a product from Bentheim Glass, and I'm not entirely sure if they're nationwide, but they are definitely here in New York City. They are a company that specializes in all sorts of these different finishes for back painted glasses. But what's really cool about them is it's not the typical back painted glass where you have a lot of sheen. They have a lot of different finishes, and one that we just completed a project was this beautiful material here. And you can see it almost has more of a matte finish. Now, if you run your finger across the front of it, it's very smooth, just like you would expect a glass to be. But they've sandblasted the back of it so that you don't have that sheen. You have a little bit of reflectivity, but it's not something that's a high gloss. And we use this in a kitchen on the Upper West Side, and we have a large format. So the entire backsplash, I think in the entire kitchen, I think there might be 2 seams. And it turned out so beautiful because it added a depth to the kitchen, and this beautiful color was tying into all the other furnitures and the countertops that we used, which had a really pretty gray veining that went through it. So there was a little contrast, white cabinets, this really pretty blue-gray backsplash, and then you had the marble countertops, white marble that had some gray veining that went through it. And it was very, very pretty. And then another kitchen that we did recently had more of this kind of almost like a muted champagne finish to it, a little bit warmer. Some people think that when you're doing a back painted glass like this, which it is, that it's very cold, austere. But I think with this warmer color, it turned out beautiful. The kitchen had some depth to it. It had some warmth to it. And again, we had the cabinets on that kitchen. It was uppers were in a high gloss white, and then the base was done in a wood grain finish, which was so beautiful. So this was kind of like this happy medium between those two components. And then on the countertop, we actually did a Caesar stone, the organic white. But again, on that entire kitchen, we had very, very few seams. A couple things that I like to point out when doing a material like this is 2 parts. We don't do this behind a cooktop. If you are you like cooking a lot and there's a lot of heat in the kitchen, there can be the tendency for this to crack. They do rate it that it's good for heat, but I have found that I'd rather err on the side of caution, and we will do it to the right and left of a cooktop, and usually the back of the cooktop we will do in a stainless panel that would match either our Wolf stove or something like that we're using. The other thing to keep in mind is when you are using it where your outlets are. Our contractor, he's done a brilliant job when they fabricate this and they cut out those holes for where your outlets are. They've done it so that the outlet really gets attached into the wall, the kind of the guts, if you will, of the outlet, so that as you're plugging in appliances and you're pushing on that switch plate, or the back plate rather, it's not going to crack the material. All the pressure is put on that actual plug, not on the glass. So you don't have to worry that if you're, have one of these appliances that you're really trying to shove into the outlet, that it's not going to crack the glass. So 2 really important tips if you're thinking about using a material like this, that you want to have that discussion with your contractor so that they are making the appropriate cuts for your outlets, and also that you're not using it in an area where there's going to be extreme heat where it could potentially crack. So again, here's 2 different finishes. I happen to love this, more of this matte finish. I think it's quite lovely. And then by contrast, if you see this one here, pretty much the same color, but this is a high gloss. So again, you can see more of the difference in terms of what those finishes look like side by side. Again, I really do love this matte finish. It has this elevated look, and it's not so super shiny, especially if you're going to be doing like a high gloss cabinet with this. So you don't want to have so many shiny objects. I do like a very good shiny object, but too many of them, not so good. And then one other, this is so pretty. It has, I don't know if you can tell, but you can kind of see how there's this sandwich effect in here. And what they've done is there's like a material that they've laminated on the inside. So as opposed to it being a back painted glass where it's a solid flat color, if you will, this has more texture, and so that has to do with the material that they've sandwiched in between here, so you're getting that really, really pretty read. Now this is they didn't do a matte finish or a sandblasted finish on the inside of the glass, so it does have a little bit more sheen to it, but as opposed to something like this where the color, the background or the pattern, if you will, that's sandwiched in between the glass kind of helps to alleviate a little bit of that really shiny finish, more like that, unlike that mirrored finish. And then one other product that we've used before for backsplash, which is quite fantastic, is Freeform. And this is actually, I feel like I've got fingerprints all over this, so sorry. This is actually a plastic. And again, for this particular kitchen that we used it in, very large formats. For this one, we were able to do a very long run because it was plastic without any seams. It turned out absolutely stunning. It was so beautiful. But again, on right and left of the stove, the cooktop had the stainless steel panel, so that we didn't have to worry about this melting, not cracking, but melting, because it is a plastic material. And it's a super thin profile, really no thicker than, say, like the glass piece. But you do need to let your contractor know the material that you're, bless you, somebody in my office sneezed, the material that you're using. And Freeform is an amazing company if you don't know about them. They have a great showroom here in New York. I believe it's manufactured and made in Utah, and they will ship pretty much anywhere. We've used it for tabletops, we've actually used it for countertops, and then we have used it for the backsplash, this was a really, really fun project. And they have so many, they call them skins. So again, you can see this almost like a laminated effect where something was sandwiched in between there. And this again has this very kind of opaque look to it. It wipes up super clean, a little bit of soap and water, and you're good to go. So if you had like, olive oil splatter on this, literally a little bit of dish soap on a sponge, wipe it up, dry it, it's absolutely fine, totally cleans up. Same thing for when we've done these for countertops or tabletops. Super easy to clean. If you had a really deep gouge in this, you can buff it out. Love this material. And if you ever get a chance, if you're here in New York and you can go to their showroom, it's quite special. And they can make up samples. So if you're kind of deciding between a couple different colors, their color library, if you will, is it's incredible. And they can have different metallic screens behind it, and different gradations of colors. So if you wanted something, you're like, oh, I like this, but I want it just a touch darker, they can add another, what they call like a skin to it. And they can make up some samples so you can see what those look like. So that's my tip today for backsplash. And we are going to be closed next week for the holidays. So this is our last drinks and design with Darci for the year 2018, but stay tuned for 2019. We will be back. We'll be talking about some really fun new projects, and can't wait to share with you some more fun things on Friday. So everybody, I hope wherever you are in the world that you're having an amazing holiday season, and best wishes for you and all of your family for just taking 2018 out with a bang. Happy holidays, and where's my Baileys? Cheers, everybody. Happy holidays. Bye.